Have you ever explored the works of Alan Watts, Terence McKenna, Friedrich Nietzsche, or David Foster Wallace? If so, you probably already know they're often hailed as some of the greatest minds of their time. But there's a strange paradox here. Despite their wisdom, their words that could crack open entire worlds within us, their personal lives were full of chaos, sadness, and suffering. And it leaves us with a hard question. If they couldn't save themselves with their own wisdom, can we really learn anything from them? Today, we're diving into a difficult but powerful conversation about brilliance, pain, and the limits of knowledge. But first, a quick note. In today's video, we'll be touching on sensitive topics: depression, suicide, and psychedelics. If that feels too heavy right now, it's okay. You can pause this and revisit a past video or start something lighter. Take care of yourself first. All right, let's begin. Terence McKenna was one of the loudest voices in favor of psychedelics, believing they were a doorway back to ancient truths and harmony. He encouraged us to challenge modern rationalism and embrace the mysteries of consciousness. But his own life? It was nomadic, chaotic, and his deep use of psychedelics may have led to his early death at just 53. Friedrich Nietzsche taught us to forge our own values, to reject herd mentality, to seek truth even if it hurts. He gave us the concept of the Übermensch, man beyond man. And yet, Nietzsche spent much of his life isolated, in pain, and later lost his grip on reality completely. David Foster Wallace, the literary genius, helped us see how empathy and authenticity could be antidotes to a hyper-distracted, consumerist world. But his long battle with mental illness ended in tragedy. He took his own life in 2008. And then there's Alan Watts, a spiritual voice who simplified Eastern philosophy for Western minds. He taught us about presence, mindfulness, and the illusion of the ego. But even Watts struggled with alcoholism and a restless spirit that never seemed to settle. So what do we make of this? How could such wise people who seemingly had all the answers fall so deeply into despair? And more importantly, should we take advice from people who couldn't follow their own teachings? Here's what we often miss. Wisdom doesn't shield you from life's struggles. It helps you understand them. That's it. But understanding pain doesn't prevent it. Being self-aware doesn't automatically fix your emotional reality. In fact, self-awareness can trap you. You start believing that knowing your flaws is the same as fixing them. You feel like you're working on yourself, but really, you're stuck in a loop. Awareness without action just gives you front row seats to your own suffering. Think about it. Have you ever known what you needed to do, yet still couldn't bring yourself to do it? That's the gap between intention and execution. You want to be healthier, more focused, more fulfilled. But then comes distraction, fear, routine. The mind loves comfort, even when that comfort is toxic. Here's the brutal truth. Being smart, being self-aware, being philosophical, none of it guarantees happiness. In fact, sometimes it makes things worse. The more you analyze emotions, the harder it becomes to feel them honestly. You intellectualize pain instead of releasing it. But emotions? They don't follow logic. You can know why you're sad and still be utterly consumed by it. We see this with addiction too. Smokers know it's killing them. Procrastinators know it's ruining opportunities. But logic doesn't change behavior. Why? Because behavior is emotional, habitual, even chemical. Knowledge needs to be paired with systems, support, and discipline. Let's go back to Nietzsche. His brilliance led him to question everything: religion, morality, truth, even love. But what did that give him in the end? A deep, gnawing sense of meaninglessness. A nihilism so strong it consumed him. He couldn't turn off his mind. And sometimes your mind is your biggest enemy. Mental health doesn't care about IQ. It doesn't care how many books you've read or how deeply you understand the cosmos. These great thinkers didn't struggle because they were wrong. They struggled because they were human. But their stories don't have to be our stories. We live in an era with more tools than ever. Therapy, mindfulness, support networks, medication, community. We can learn from their pain. We can go further than they could. The fact that these brilliant minds didn't have all the answers doesn't mean there aren't any answers. It just means that wisdom is a direction, not a destination. And most importantly, you're allowed to ask for help. You're allowed to try new paths. You're allowed to stumble and try again. Healing is not a straight line. But if we listen to their voices, not just their teachings, but their struggles, we can build something more sustainable, more human, more whole. So, dear friend, you don't need to be the smartest person in the room. You don't need to have all the answers. Just take the next small step. And remember, you are not alone. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Until then, take care.